Welcome to our little shitty studio in Los Angeles, California. My name is Rob. This is the Real Cinema Show. I'm joined always by the one, the only, the divine white light himself, Devon Blazon. Devon, how are you?
I'm doing great now.
How was that?
Thank you for quite the amazing intro, Rob. You've made my entire day, even though the day is almost over. You've made my entire day now.
The intro passes?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. It's great now.
Great. So, Devon, for those unfamiliar with the show, tell them how this is going to go.
As always, we will start with our weekend recap where we talk about the movies that we just saw. Then we'll get into our trailers of the past week that just came out. And then we'll close always with movies coming this week.
Great. So, weekend recap. What did you see this weekend?
So the first thing I saw this weekend was the 20-year re-release of Shaun of the Dead. I believe it only played in Dolby Cinema theaters, so pretty limited re-release. It's a cult classic. Cult classic, or would you say it's just a classic?
It's a cult classic, but it's a classic.
Okay.
Shaun of the Dead, it's in my top 20 of all time.
Yeah.
The director, Edgar Wright, is one of the best in the business today. And the cinematography of that movie, the comedic aspects of the movie are incredible. I love it.
Yeah, one thing I liked about this movie was the directing and editing at times where there'd be quick montages of a character getting ready for work or other little where they get all set up and ready. And the quick little edit montages were great. I thought were great how they did. Yeah. Simon Pegg, I'm a big fan of from Mission Impossible movies. His friend Ed was hilarious, like old lazy slob who doesn't have his life together.
Yeah.
Some really good character scenes in this movie, in these kind of apocalyptic movies where they're all just trying to, they have it's tough love, but they're all trying to pull through as best they can in a terrible situation. Solid movie, had some good laughs with it and fun overall. I can get why it's a classic.
Okay, great. So, you also saw another movie.
Yes. The other movie I saw this weekend that we both saw is a Blumhouse movie, Afraid. Now, this is a movie that's feeling really close to home nowadays with, it's about a family who gets a very advanced home AI, reminiscent of Alexa.
Sorry,
and
I'm having trouble connecting.
Oh, Jesus.
It looks like a router issue, so try restarting it.
If the mics did not pick this up, we accidentally cued in the A word.
We're living in an AI simulation as we speak.
Yes, and this just proves it even further.
So, scary how well AI can manipulate you and can quickly learn about humans is a big theme of this movie. And you see a lot of it play out where, Rob, I wanted to ask you, the AI in this movie is called Aya. And think of some of the basic things it was able to do and help around the house. How far do you think we are away from having a real-life Aya?
I think we're a few years away, like 3 years at most.
Okay.
The AI that you see where you can like put in a prompt and then it creates this whole video that looks realistic to the eye.
Yeah.
We have that now.
Yeah.
Think about if, let's say the A word over there in the corner.
Yeah.
The Amazon A word. Think if that had that sort of power.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's pretty crazy. And for the movie, the movie is, it's a Blumhouse movie. It's not too deep. It's mainly for a general audience. Mm-hmm. And this, this story was, how do I even put it into words, actually? It's a general fear that we all have. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, it makes for a good story. I thought that everyone in the movie, served the story. They did their part. Was it something that, blew my mind or anything like that? No, it's not that deep. It's for scares and
Yeah, it did have a few good scares at times, but it also was really simple and to the point with a runtime of under an hour and a half. So
which I love.
All horror movies are pretty much 90 minutes or less most of the time. It feels like. Yeah. So they keep it simple, straight to the point, and like you said, nothing special, but just a solid little movie. What would you rate this? You think?
I would give this. Oh man, I said Jesus. I said it again. Jesus. Okay, so I would give this movie, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I know that every movie that I've rated so far, I've given a 7 to, but a 7 to me is, okay, did this movie pass? Did it entertain me? Was it a fun time at the theater? Do I regret seeing it? And, no. I mean, yes, it entertained me, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yes, of course.
So yeah, it passed for me, so it gets a 7.
So for me, I gave it like a 6.5 to 7. Or like I said, like you said, it passes. There was some, like I said before, there were some like pretty good jump scares where I was like, oh, geez.
Yeah.
But, just basic, simple, nothing like mind blowing like anything I've seen in the past few weeks. So I keep it right there at 6.5 to 7.
Great. So for our next topic, we have the trailers that came out this past week. We have a few. Sonic 3, Terrifier 3, threequels.
Mm-hmm.
There's a theme here.
Yes.
Did the Sonic 3 trailer get you excited to see this movie? Will you be seeing it, or are you going to pass?
I will be seeing it. I need to actually catch up and watch the first two because I never really got into these movies. But I think one thing that really excites me is that Jim Carrey is in this movie. And he said in 2022 that he was basically retiring from acting. And he literally said here in a quote on if he was ever going to like kind of unretire basically, that it depends if the Angels bring some sort of script that's written in gold ink that says to me, it's going to be really important for people to see. I might continue down the road, but I'm taking a break. That's what he said 2 years ago. So the fact that he decided to come back for this movie tells me he really loved the script. In the parts of the trailer where you do see him, he looks like he's having a great time and he seems absolutely hilarious. So for those reasons alone, I feel like I need to go back, binge the first two, and then I will see this movie. So I'm looking forward to it now.
Okay. I'm going to say that he came back entirely based on that dump truck of money they brought to his house. I don't think he came back for the script. I think he came back to have fun because it does seem like his character, what's his name, Robotnik, it looks like he's having fun.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
But I think he's there for the money. And does this trailer excite me to see this movie? Ooh, I'm shaking the table. No. These movies are not for me.
Fair enough.
It looks like a fun time at the theater if I was 12. But, and that's no hate.
Mm-hmm.
Some movies are, for a special demographic.
Yeah.
I'm obviously not the target demographic for this movie. Yeah. So, any other thoughts on that one?
I was just going to say, if you're thinking he's just doing this for the money, how much is that, you thinking? 20 million plus?
Millions.
15 million plus? Because I think he's doing this for having fun more than anything. I don't think he's thinking, because he's made all the money he's needed at this point.
Fair point. True.
Mm-hmm.
So our next trailer, we have Terrifier 3.
Mm-hmm.
Does this trailer excite you? Are you going to see the movie, or are you going to pass?
This is kind of the same for me with Sonic, where it's just disturbing. I haven't seen the first two of these franchises, the first two movies in this franchise, but I need to understand his origin story, this demented man's origin story. I need to see what made him a serial killer for the hell of it. I think one part that interests me about this movie is David Thornton, the guy who plays Art, the serial killer of this movie. He said that while filming this movie, he nearly threw up while filming one of the scenes in this movie. And when you watch the trailer, there's so much bloodiness and goriness throughout.
Yeah.
It looks like the entire budget's just fake blood everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing it and probably wanting to close my eyes the entire time while watching it. What are your thoughts, you think?
So the press for Terrifier 2 got me intrigued to see this movie.
Okay.
I haven't seen Terrifier 1 or Terrifier 2. I heard that Terrifier 1 was shot on a budget of $35,000.
Wow.
The second one, however, was made for I think $1 or $2 million.
Okay.
So they kind of upped their game a little bit.
Yeah.
But to me, it always looked like a B movie that it's okay. It's gore. It's a slasher B movie.
Yeah.
Not really what I'm interested in. But I did see this trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm intrigued. The goriness looks good. Like it looks like it's gonna be a fun time at the theater. as disturbing as that is.
It's just fun
And-
times. What
yeah.
to say.
And it looks like some of the effects are really good practical
Yeah,
effects,
okay.
which that made me kind of fall in love with the trailer, actually. I like that it's set during Christmas time. And
That's sickening that it's set during Christmas time.
yeah, it still has that B movie quality to it.
Okay. In the trailer that you can
in the
tell?
trailer that
Okay.
I kind of got the B movie vibe, but I think that's now the aesthetic choice that the creatives
Yeah.
are making. They wanted it, I guess, to feel maybe like the 1 and 2.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And it kind of gives a different feel to like a normal horror movie that you'd see in the theater by a large studio. So am I going to pass on this? No, I'm going to see this. I will see this opening day, probably October 11th.
Yeah. And then I quickly forgot to mention Sonic 3 is coming out December 20th. So I'll be seeing it then. And then, like you said, October 11th for Terrifier 3. And then that leads us.
So actually, there's a third trailer. From the Poonaverse, Devin. Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. The new installment in the Poonaverse franchise, which started with Pooh, Blood and Honey. Does this trailer get you excited to see this movie? And what do you think of the Poonaverse, Devin?
So, obviously, the best current cinematic universe out there at the moment.
Yes.
This is not the best trailer I've seen from the Pooh-niverse. I thought the Bambi trailer was interesting.
I didn't see the
The
Bambi.
Bam, I think it's called Bambi the Reckoning.
Nice.
So that one has me, I think, more excited. But this is still intriguing, and because it's a great cinematic universe, I need to get caught up on it and see the first two. Because this sick and twisted horror childhood universe is something that's like a train wreck where you can't look away from and you have to watch. So I need to get caught up. I'm going to see it just because it's a profitable franchise somehow.
Yeah.
And since they're making more, I got to be caught up on this whole
Yeah,
thing.
didn't you say that the first one was made for 50,000 or
It was-
500,000, right?
The first one was made, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, that's the first one, right?
Yeah.
It was made for 500,000 and I believe it made 5 million.
That's why these movies exist, people.
Because people want to see their childhood heroes go on a murdering spree, killing just a normal civilian city.
Yeah. So, are you going to see it or are you going to pass?
I think I'm going to see it. I'm hoping to be more impressed by another trailer because this is just the first trailer for the movie. So I'm hoping the official trailer will give us more to go off of. But I'm looking forward to seeing it just a little bit. And I think it's going to release, sometime down the line. I don't think they have an official release date for it right now.
I'm going to pass. This whole Poonaverse, Bambi, why are you ruining our childhoods? I want to see Peter Pan just be Peter Pan, not a murderer, let's just... No hate. I mean, it is kind of hate. But these movies aren't for me, and I'm not excited to see this.
I'm a big
Pass.
theatrical guy, and I am supporting the theatrical experience. That is why I am seeing it. I have to keep the theaters alive.
Great.
And now that we're done talking about a movie that probably shouldn't even exist to begin with, let's talk about movies we actually are looking forward to, Rob.
Cool.
So what are your top 3 most anticipated movies for the rest of this year?
Okay, so I do have my list, and I do want to give a few down that were runner-ups. So, Joker, Fallait à Deux. I'm very excited to see this movie, but it is not in my top 3 anticipated movies of the year. Smile 2, which I really liked the first Smile. I thought it was very scary.
Yeah.
I know that the whole Smile thing, like that.
Yeah.
It can kind of come off as a gimmick to some people,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that is scary.
Mhm.
Like I was creeped out.
Yeah.
So that is up in my it didn't make my top 3, but that
Gotcha.
is on my runner up. And then I do have Saturday Night Live also, the movie.
Okay.
I believe his name is Lorne Michaels, the guy that created SNL.
Yes.
That trailer I saw in theaters the other day. It looks pretty good.
I agree. I
think-
think that looks good.
Yeah.
I saw it in theaters the other day, I think for the first time, and it looked pretty good. I didn't think it'd be anything that interesting, but behind the scenes of the very first SNL episode ever in 1975, right?
Exactly. Yep. So I'm pretty excited. So for my top 3, At number 3, I do have Gladiator 2. Ridley Scott, he directed the first one. The first one is one of the greatest movies, of all time. It's pretty high up on everyone's,
Yeah.
on their lists. So I love the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for that. Devin, what is your number 3?
So in my number 3 spot, I have what you actually had in your runners up. I had Smile 2. I remember for the first one, for the Smile 1, the movie was originally supposed to go straight to Paramount Plus streaming, but it tested so well that they decided to give it a theatrical run. And the marketing campaign I thought was great for the first one.
Yeah.
They hired a person and they would go to, say, a baseball game. They would sit behind home plate, maybe on a nationally televised game where millions are watching. And they just have a person sitting down in their seat, but smiling like they do in the movie in this really weird, creepy smile. And they would do that at other sporting events. And obviously, as a viewer, I remember watching that and feeling, what the hell is going on behind my Dodger game right now?
Yeah.
And the commentators obviously are going to notice it too and say something. So a commentator says something, oh, it's for the movie Smile. Millions of people just heard about a movie they never would have heard about. I thought it was a brilliant marketing campaign. I love the first one, like you said. I don't think it's a gimmick. I thought it was an interesting new reinvention of horror where everyone's smiling at you. And it was really good. And I remember as soon as it ended, I was like, you can't end it like that. I need another one.
Yeah.
So Smile.
Great.
Oh, and one more thing I have to say about Smile. The first one, because they released in theaters, it ended up making over $217 million against a budget of just $17 million. So this was a massive hit for Paramount when they thought they were just going to throw it on streaming.
Yeah, so it's almost like inevitable that there's going to be a sequel.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, Devin. So my number 2 most anticipated movie of the year is Megalopolis.
Okay.
Not because of all this weird bad press that it's getting with the director kind of acting up and all these sorts of rumors. And not because of the AI quotes trailer. Yeah, that was horrendous. But I did like the trailer. The trailer made me want to see the movie more than I already did. But the main reason I want to see Megalopolis is because of Francis Ford Coppola. He's one of the all-time greats. I love Apocalypse Now, like we mentioned in the last episode. And I love The Godfather.
Yeah.
So that is my number 2 anticipated movie. What are your thoughts?
So
And what is your second?
I was just going to say quickly on yours.
Yeah.
Teaser trailer for Megalopolis didn't do a lot for me. This official one did a lot more, and I'm excited to see it now. It's not in my top list, but like you said, it's one of the all-time great directors, and looking forward to it now and hoping for a good time with it September 27th, I believe.
Great.
In my number 2,
Yep.
it'll be Gladiator 2. This would have been my number 1, but I've been burned by Ridley Scott on his last 2 movies with
Yes.
House of Gucci and Napoleon. I was extremely looking forward to Napoleon last year. It was probably one of my most anticipated movies last year, and boy was it a letdown. That was terrible. I felt just violated because of that movie.
It had one good aspect.
The
The
fight
battle
scene.
scenes.
Yes.
The battle scenes were great. Everything else was just slow and just trudging through this 3-hour movie, And I don't think Joaquin Phoenix actually fit the role. I don't know. Did you kind of feel like he was out of place in that?
I didn't think he was out of place. I just think that the script was just not there. Where when you watch the trailer for that movie, you thought it was going to be this political thriller at times with also great action set pieces of him trying to become the king, and it just didn't translate well at all.
Yeah.
The trailers were great, and then it was just such a letdown in the movie.
Yeah.
But this new one, it also looks like it has incredible set pieces, water battles in the Colosseum, which I didn't know were a historically accurate thing.
Yep, that happened.
Until I heard about it. So also with a stat cast, Pedro Pascal, Paul Mescal, Denzel.
Yeah.
Looks like it's gonna be awesome. I'm expecting a great time with this one.
Yeah, this looks like a home run, and Ridley Scott himself said that this is one of his best movies he's ever directed.
Yeah, I remember him saying that, so I'm hoping he's right about it.
Me too. I'm looking forward to a good Roman Empire movie. So, Devin.
Yes.
We are on to our number 1s. Our most anticipated movies of the year. The number 1. Mine is probably no surprise to you. Nosferatu.
Yes.
Horror is my genre. That's my favorite genre. And Robert Eggers is directing the movie. I've loved all of his movies before. The Witch, The Lighthouse, The Northman. The Northman was one of my favorite movies of that year. So the trailer looks incredible.
Yep.
I'm very excited.
It looks like a good trailer. The more I see it, so it's got a Willem Dafoe, great actor, and I think a pretty stacked cast as well, if I'm not mistaken. Right, in general.
Pretty stacked cast. And the trailer, the part where the shadow of the hand just goes over the whole town. That shot alone had my ticket. I'm like, yeah, let's do this.
All right, fair enough with that. With that, I'm gonna give my number one, and that is Venom: The Last Dance. I know.
Wow.
I love this. Look, Gladiator would have had it if the last two Ridley Scott movies didn't burn me hard here. But I love the Venom movies. Tom Hardy's awesome in these movies. They're incredibly fun and entertaining movies. They're the one movie in this Sony Spider-Man universe without Spider-Man that Sony isn't completely ruined.
Yeah.
One thing I hope they do, though, is take bigger risks in this movie. I feel like they haven't really done that with the first two in their franchise. And then hopefully by the end of this movie, the other thing I want them to do is, either in a post-credit scene or one of the final scenes, like fully establish that there's a Spider-Man that Tom Hardy's gonna meet or something. Whether it be Tom Holland or maybe they're gonna bring back Andrew Garfield. I doubt it. Or just give me something of where this is all going. Show me why you've made 3 Venom movies, a Madam Web, and a Morbius. Where is this all leading to? Is this all leading to something you're gonna announce, or is this all for you to try to milk a franchise when you've only made 2 profitable movies out of 4?
Yeah, I think that they really got to make this a banger to keep that that Sony verse alive, basically.
Completely agreed.
Yeah, Venom's holding up the whole franchise. So with that down, what is opening this weekend? What do we have? We have on September 6th, we have Beetlejuice, a horror comedy directed by Tim Burton. We also have The Front Room, a horror thriller distributed by A24. And last but not least, we have Lover of Men, an untold history of Abraham Lincoln, a documentary.
Yeah.
Devin, what are you seeing this weekend?
I am for sure seeing Beetlejuice. Okay. I just got a chance to see the first one recently. I thought it was great. Michael Keaton steals every scene he's in. His commanding presence. Just a fantastic actor in anything he's in always. A 36-year sequel. The last 36-year sequel I believe I saw was Top Gun Maverick, and that turned out pretty good. But, you got your main returning members, Keaton obviously, Catherine O'Hara, and Winona Ryder. But then also newcomers like Willem Dafoe, Jenna Ortega, Monica Bellucci. And I love Jenna Ortega. I think she's a great actor. I think I really got introduced to her like most people in Wednesday. And she's fantastic in that, also directed by Tim Burton. And then I think also the big thing for me about Beetlejuice is it's currently projected to open 105 million plus domestically this weekend.
Wow.
Which would make it the 3rd biggest domestic opening of this year, only behind Inside Out and Deadpool. So it's shocking, but I think that's pretty surprising in itself. Also, for the other 2 movies, Front Room, like you said, it's produced by A24. That's the only place where I'm holding out hope for it, that it will be somewhat good. Trailers are not doing too much for me.
Yeah.
And then I'm not seeing the this Lincoln documentary that nobody asked for, and it's a waste of everyone's time.
Great, Devin. Way to be positive. So it's no surprise. Beetlejuice is the one I'm seeing this weekend. If I were to see a second movie, Front Room, although the trailer didn't do anything for me either. It kind of just looks like, same old thing that comes out every week,
Yeah.
So yeah, Beetlejuice. Tim Burton, he's kind of been on a resurgence, right? After Wednesday. I think people are more excited to see what he's going to do next. And Jenna Ortega obviously is on fire in her career. I love Willem Dafoe. So yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it's September. We're getting into spooky season.
Yep.
So
right here, it's here pretty much.
Yeah. So I think that this movie's going to be a hit. Great. So, does that wrap up the show?
I believe it does.
Great. So, I'm seeing Beetlejuice on Wednesday, an early fan screening. So, keep an eye out for the out of the theater reaction that I'm going to be posting. On this channel, click the shorts tab. You'll find it there. Devin, any last words before we skedaddle?
I believe that is it. Great show. I love the intro.
Thank you.
And I think that's all we have for this week. If you like the show, please like and subscribe for more episodes every Monday. And that's all. Have a good one, guys.
Great.